just finished watching a couple of shows on Gaia TV with Joe Dispenza, and he was talking about the unified field and the void and the nothingness and all that, the quantum field basically. And it's a place I've seen when I've had near-death experiences. This like empty black nothingness. But there's stuff there. It's your awareness and everything is there, but you don't have any senses. But you're all of your senses at once. That's where I saw that woman that was like a diamond prism, and she asked me, wouldn't love be easier? So I was watching this thing, and he's talking about removing the planets and, everything matter. Just remove it, pretend it doesn't exist for a minute. From the universe, it's not like the universe is the galaxies, everything that would consist of matter. So you're left with nothing, just empty infinity. This massive tapestry that holds all of that stuff together is all in a place, and that place is infinite. And what we're doing here is creating matter out of that nothingness using our consciousness, which is those little specks of light that you see in this nothingness. So all the light we see is consciousness forming some form of matter by having different experiences and moving through this infinite tapestry through time. And when there is, like, if you go to a place where there is no time, to a dimension where there isn't, time or space, then the way you move through that reality is by raising your frequency. Do you get it? You basically are like how Shadowcat from X-Men phases through matter. Since you create matter, and your light, your consciousness, even light is something. You're the thing that made the light. Since you're that, and if there's a place where there is no space and there's no time, and you're trying to move from there, you'd have to move your vibration. You'd phase through it. But since there's no time, you'd have to phase through emotions, states of being. Like the level of your hertz, your frequency, your vibration. How do I describe this to you? The amount of movement within your emotional intelligence, basically. The way you can ride the wave of your emotions. How Bruce Lee says, be like water. Well, can you feel and move through all of it like you're water? Like to float? But also be conscious of everything at the same time. It's so much. But if you just close your eyes and look at the darkness and realize that every single inch of you is covered and sticking to this tapestry. That's Lily scratching her tower. Every inch of you is connected to this nothingness. You're literally the nothingness in there, creating things out of the nothing. And the nothing is like a massive, infinite everything, where it's like a womb, and you can create anything in there. So when people say that the earth is like overpopulated or whatever, it's impossible. It's infinite. All the planets, everything's connected through this infinity. This like infinite water thing. It's like this liquid light that's not even light. It's just It's nothing and everything. It's unmade matter. It's consciousness. So all the planets are connected to that, which means they're perpetually and, infinitely expanding. The suns are all expanding or collapsing, depending on what you're experiencing as those planets and as those stars. Because it's all consciousness. You created it. And other versions of you created that stuff too. So, like, when you're experiencing life on Earth, it's not just you, it's other versions of you too. So when you're like fighting and protesting and yelling and arguing, you're just doing it with yourself. They're all different versions of you. And you're different versions of, or you're a different version of them. In this, like, eternal soup that turns into stuff when you think and feel about that stuff as if you already have it. And then you just move through time, either through emotional states, through frequency shifts, or through actual physical movement towards that outcome. But you're still in that field, you're still in the nothing, you're still in the void. And it's all happening in your head. Like, it's all inside you. And then there's something more after that. Because it's infinite. And this is just a snapshot. But it's like the infinite, eternal snapshot, the present moment. But it's also movement through time and infinity. It's like trying to explain something to you that cannot be explained. It has to be experienced. You can change everything. And all you have to do is be nothing first. I know I sound like a total stoner, but I swear I'm not high. I've been watching this show and I've been meditating for like 45 minutes after I watched it. And I connected with it, and it's like it's the presence of something. It's conscious. And there's like no fear in it. There's no, it's like pure consciousness, so it doesn't hurt itself, Our little fractals of it are the ones being afraid of where we are. We're like little stars, starting to shine, and we're afraid of the dark around us, but the dark around us is only dark because we haven't started forming, satellites and planets and people and creating our own little solar systems and imagining all these different things, different possible species and how humans could be different and all these magical different outcomes, different experiences. And then, like that doctor guy said, is there more love to experience? Is there more love than this that I can experience? Instead of fearing, and every time you're afraid of something, just ask yourself, is there more love I can experience in this? Or in any of it. You have to get really still. Like, everything that you are. Remember the other video I was talking about Babaji and Gangaji and how they said stop everything and just be. Like, really, all of it, just stop all of it. Every single part of it, including your senses. Including like your heart, like don't stop your heartbeat, but don't be the body. Don't be matter. Don't be like ignore all the other stuff. Like, focus on that subtle, silent, like almost bottomless, infinite feeling that you feel terrified to feel because it feels like you're falling through space. You know what I'm talking about. It's like this, it's like you're falling through dark water and you can't see anything. And you're totally afraid and you're like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? But don't be afraid. Like, don't, Don't be afraid. Just remember, you're falling through the void of infinity, and you're not really falling, because you are infinity. You're just experiencing the vastness of infinity, and what it feels like is falling. But you're not falling. You're everything. You're falling itself. So you can't fall. Do you get it? Ugh. I mean, if you could really just imagine being wrapped up in in like this prism, like the sensory deprivation chamber, but you're also in a prism, to where what you see reflected back at you, even in that pitch darkness, is your own light and your own imagination. Nothing else. Like, nothing can hurt you. It's just your imagination, because you're manifesting it out of the nothingness, out of that infinite, fertile infinity. And I know I've said these words a lot, but there's really nothing else. Like, I can't describe it any other way. It's just everything and nothing and nothing, and it's all of it. And you're there creating matter. But outside of this nothing, okay, like, there is more. It's not just you floating in nothingness. That infinity is somewhere. It's a lot to like comprehend, but somehow you know this. And somehow you know you're not alone. And you know that there is this consciousness that truly, truly knows of you and cares about you. And it's doing everything that it can to help you feel love. There really is. So as weird as this video has been, I really want you to feel this. I intend that you become aware of this. I intend that all of you get enlightened and uplifted and feel and comprehend fully for yourselves what it is that I'm talking about. For you, and in the best, most beneficial way for you. If you allow it. Because it'll take away all of that fear and all of the worry and about whatever's going on, and anything really. You can program this field around you. All you have to do is change how you feel about stuff. Go into the stillness, into that nothingness. Be really aware of that field, of that consciousness that's you, but it isn't you. It doesn't think, it doesn't have words. It simply feels, and it knows. It is knowing. It's like, it's everything. I mean, everything's happened already in this field of infinity. You're just creating experiences. You're creating the best of what you experienced throughout all your lifetimes by every thought and every action and every emotion that you feel and do. Every thought you have goes somewhere and becomes something. So everything that you're seeing in the whole of everything, you contributed to. I think this is what Jesus meant, and the other ones are part of what they meant when they said, "You are God." And people have turned it into this like religious thing, or this crazy like woo-woo thing, but no, like, there is this infinite field, and you are that infinite field experiencing you individualized. And you can create anything and experience whatever you want. And there's something greater than you. But that is also you. You are like its child, kind of. And I think that's what the other ones meant with the Sophia and the demiurge. So kind of like you're the demiurge. You've been in this like deep, dark emptiness, and you've been coming up with all these different stories and you know, versions of reality, and you're just, you know, a scared little kid in this nothingness. Because you couldn't see, but you didn't know that that's the whole point. You can't see because you're the light, and in order for you to see something, you have to create something. And if you don't know how to create, and you don't know what to do, you're going to be really scared because you're going to feel like you're falling all the time. But that feeling of falling is this like huge amounts of energy. So then we distract ourselves from all of this by, you know, mortal life. It's like this place that we've created, at all these different points of, you know, consciousness of source, of the infinity. We all incarnate and we just like play around here because it's, you know, we need a break. And some of these versions make really terrible decisions over here because it's just a game. Like, who cares? It's all for fun, as long as life is respected and sacred and honored. But there are those that don't honor life, and they really don't care. And we can't judge them. You can't say like, oh, they're wrong for doing what they're doing. I mean, they have every right. It's a free will existence. But when that free will is being imposed on your free will, that's a problem. That means that the law of free will is being broken somehow, because you can't use free will to suppress free will. It just, that's not how this works. So when you tap into this field and you're having all these thoughts and you're seeing all these realities and you have all these fears, go past that. It's just an experience you're having. And ask yourself, is there more love you can experience in this? How can you make it better? Like, how can you change the story of what you're experiencing? Or do you just want to go experience a different thing? You don't have to be on the timeline. You can choose anywhere you want. They're like little train tracks of energy when you connect to that nothingness. You just pick a different thread in a tapestry. Anywhere in it. Different planets, different realities, whatever you can imagine and feel. And this is like, this is real stuff, or quote unquote real. Anyway, I hope you connect with yourself. It's really funny when you do, because you're like, oh, I've been making up all these problems for nothing. Like all the drama in the world, all the stories you've been telling yourself, all the heartache, all the grief, it's just been to get you to stop looking outside. You haven't been punished. You've been purposefully, like, you know, pushing yourself back into this state of, you know, having basically no other option other than to look within. Sometimes the universe gets literal with you. So do yourself a favor and get literal with yourself. Really isolate yourself. Close your eyes. Put a blindfold around you, and, you know, hide under a blanket and just be in stillness and silence. Let yourself fall. because you'll realize you've never been falling to begin with. You've never been separated from Source, and you've been safe all along. And you always will be. And then you get to smile and create what you want. Whatever you want, no one's judging you. Just if you're going to harm life, then it's going to hurt you back, and that you should do better and like respect life and help life grow. So like imagine new plants, imagine, you know, all the kids happy and safe, and all the parents happy and healthy and safe, like everybody healthy and wealthy and wise, and everyone illuminated and glowing and enlightened and, you know, vibrant and vibrating at the highest frequency that they can, like little glimmers of light everywhere. And nature blooming, and, you know, mountains forming, and, you know, all the people happy, and fireworks and music everywhere. Like, use your imagination for good stuff. You know, what would it look like if society in your reality had super powered people, and it was at the norm? Like everybody had a superpower or two. Or if we had like different species of people living on the same planet and everybody was cool with it. Like your best friend is a, you know, so-and-so species. They can teleport you around and you have the ability to fly. How awesome, right? And P.S. Nobody gets sick anymore, and everybody's completely healthy and immune to sicknesses unless they manifest it for themselves. How awesome would that reality be? I hope this video helps. I mean, I've literally been rambling for 22 minutes because of some video. I hope it's helping you. You should watch it a few times again and really listen to what I'm saying. There's so much information that I could literally break this video down for you for hours, and there would still be more information encoded in here for you. And I'm not even doing it on purpose. I'm just describing to you infinity. So you could probably infinitely watch this and get so much information each and every time, depending on your own frequency level and what information you are vibrating in resonance with. I gotta go. Enjoy yourself. Meow. Meow meow. You want to say bye? And really enjoy yourself. You're gonna you're gonna be more upset at yourself later that you didn't let yourself have fun when you figure out what's going on. You know, when you're too afraid to go on a ride and you're like, oh, I don't want to go on the ride, it's scary, but then you go on the ride and it's fun, and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have been afraid, I should have just gone and done it. That's what this is. Like, don't be afraid, this is totally fun and you're supposed to be enjoying yourself. Don't be weird.